Hello, Richard from budgetguitarist.com. Just a quick little video today in a series I'm going to call Gear I Love. And I really love budget gear, obviously, hence the two channels, Budget Guitarist, Budget Keyboardist, right? But I thought it might be cool to just take a little bit of a deeper dive into one of these pieces of equipment that I like so much, and that is this guy, Yamaha MG12XU. So the last time I looked, I think this mixer goes for, I want to say around $400, somewhere around that range. I paid a little more than half of that because I bought it used, because budget, right? I've done recording with this board. I've done countless gigs with this board, and it has held up really well, and I just love it. And I just want to tell you some of the reasons why. Okay, let's get started. Reason number one, faders. If I'm playing a gig and I am my own sound man, the last thing in the world I want to do, if I want to increase or decrease a volume really quick, I don't want to have to reach for some little knob and turn it. I don't have that kind of time, right? So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to reach over and use one of these faders. And it's just a really nice feeling. And I mean, what more can I say? It's faders. Faders rule. Faders are way better than little teeny tiny knobs. So faders. Another thing I really like about this board is the sends. Okay, so it's actually got 2 stereo sends per channel. And so you see the gray button here, that's for group 1 and 2, which you could think of as left and right. And then the red one is for stereo. So over here, you've got outputs for group 1 and 2 in stereo. Now, in my home studio, this guy goes to the big Electro Voice PA speakers, and this guy goes to my Cali monitors. And that's kind of a neat way to do it, right? Now, if I'm doing audio recording, I might, instead of sending this to the Calis, I might send this to like another interface. I might send it to the Apollo or to the Tascam that I've got. And that'll be in a different video. But being able to send the signal to 2 different places can really come in handy so that you can control that. You can control that from here. So that's pretty cool. The next thing I like is each channel has got 2 auxiliary sends. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now, one of these sends can, if you want to, go to a built-in effects unit, and this is a SPX multi-effects. So it's like the old SPX series. So there's digital reverb in here, there's delay, etc. So if you just want a quickie PA system, you can plug in a microphone and you can send anything you want from any of the channels to the reverb unit, or not. Or the other thing you can do is you can use it as a send, just a regular send. So for example, I've got a subwoofer. So at a live gig, right, I've got a subwoofer and I want to send certain channels to the subwoofer, but not other channels. I don't want my vocals going to the sub necessarily. So I could use one of the sends for that. The other one I might send to a monitor speaker, you know? And so it's really good to have all these output options. Okay, so what this has got is it's got 4 mono channels, and then it's got basically 4 stereo channels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the stereo channels are good for things like guitar, that's my HX Stomp. Mac, that's obviously the stereo out from my Macintosh. Piano, that's from my MX88. FX, by the way, is this right here. So it's nice to have the stereo channels. The first 4 channels have a built-in compression knob. And if you turn the compression ratio up, it's 4:1, which is sort of like what most people compress vocals at. 1 knob compression, super handy. And then you've got high, mid, and low frequencies on all of these channels. One thing I don't like is on stereo channels 9, 10, and 11, 12, there's no mid-range, and I don't really understand why. There's certainly room for it. Like cost savings, I don't know. I think that's kind of silly. So I'm not crazy about that. But, you know, you can't have it all. So channels 1 through 4 are also combo jacks. You could plug a regular 1/4 inch in here, like a guitar cable, or like a microphone, an XLR, which is usually what I do. And then 5 and 6 are just XLR or stereo. If I didn't mention it before, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 can also be used like mono channels. So you could have 8 mono if you want to. But I mean, so much stuff is stereo these days, right? Right. There's also a headphone output. There is also a monitor output. And this is kind of interesting. You can plug in the headphones and see this button down here, this PFL. So if you hit the PFL button, what you're going to hear is, like on your headphones, you'll hear just that channel. So if you're like mixing a live band, it'd have to be pretty small, but if you were, you could have headphones on. You could say, I wonder what's going on with the guitar, right? And so you could come over to guitar and hit that, and you'd be able to hear through the headphones just the guitar, so you could EQ it that way. So as you can see, for around $400, there's a real lot of pro features on this board, and I really, really like it. It also has a USB jack on the back. And unfortunately, it's not all separate outputs. It's basically you can send and receive stereo audio through the USB jack. And that, if you want to route it through the mixer, that automatically goes to this channel right here. And there's a little switch here. There's also in and out for a tape deck, tape player, like cassette, I guess, maybe. I don't know. That seems pretty obsolete these days, doesn't it? But there it is. You could send your signal to your cassette deck to make your 2-track cassette master, if you can figure out where to buy blank cassette tapes. But I digress. Anyway, the main outputs, you've got XLR, or you also have the option of 1/4 inch. For the group 1 and 2 out, it's just 1/4 inch. So to kind of summarize this short video, this is a piece of gear that I really like and a piece of gear that I really recommend. The sound quality is very, very good for an inexpensive budget mixer. I mean, it sounds really good. I've recorded with it before. Sounds great, actually. It sounds really good for live work. It's flexible enough that you can do all different kinds of stuff. I mean, I can send signal to one set of speakers, a separate set of speakers, and a subwoofer and a monitor speaker, all from this little mixing board. So I would call that a big win. So thank you very much for watching me kind of gush about my Yamaha mixing board and why I love it so much. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing, click the bell, thumbs up, blah, 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 blah. And of course, I will see you again next Friday at 5.